There are lots of mysteries within the Mario universe, but one that always troubled me was the one of the Ruined Kingdom in the Lord of Lightning from Super Mario Odyssey. There's one kingdom that you'll visit and it's extra different compared to anything that we've seen in the entire game. It featured a dark, soulless world covered in clouds and left in ruins, leaving only but one inhabitant of this place, being a larger-than-life, realistic, lightning-imbued dragon. But it's a shame that we never really find out what is this dragon and what is this kingdom that had been overrun. What was the story that happened here so many years ago, and how many years ago was it actually? Well, today I'm here to uncover the mysteries of the ruins and of course that of the ruined dragon. Before we dive into this theory, I want to thank you guys so much. The very first video of this year, I asked for you guys to leave likes and subscribe to start the year off with a bang, and you absolutely did. With over 600 brand new subscribers, you guys have been killing it, and let's see how many more we can get from this one video alone. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys are awesome. Let's jump into the video. The Ruined Kingdom is just that, a ruin in complete disarray. The only thing that seems to remain is some nearby bats and broken remains of towers and giant structures left by the people of this area. The city that we're able to explore is called Crumbleden, which is pretty much just a dark, stormy, mysterious location, but the brochure actually tells us a lot about this location. The first thing we learn about is the giant tower called the crumbleden Tower. It is written, this tower once collected energy from lightning and the thunderclouds that constantly swirled here. Some say it was destroyed by repeated lightning strikes, but others note the unnatural shapes that which the tower crumbled and wonder if it fell into ruin for different reasons entirely. Another thing we can find is nearby swords, and it states this in the brochure. Amid the ruins, these swords surely stand out. They're thought to be left over from a large battle here in Crumbleden. One certainly feels a sense of intentionality in the way they're stuck straight down as if fallen from the sky. Some see them not as swords but rather nails or stakes. Perhaps the eyelets at the top allow ropes or chains through to anchor something, but it's impossible to say what. And one thing that constantly plagues this mystery for me is where Bowser actually comes in the scene, because the brochure makes it seem like these swords have actually been around for many years, and that Bowser actually had no influence with them. If that's the case, why is his symbol actually on the hilt of the sword? It's impossible to say. My theory is that he actually used these ancient swords and added his own symbol to them later on after he found them laying in the ruins. Essentially, these aren't swords made for fighting. They're made for holding something down as they're plunged into the ground in order to contain something, and the holes at the top of the sword is actually used to weave through ropes or chains in order to hold that something down, and I think it's pretty obvious what they were trying to hold down. Well, we get to go back and learn more about the tower, as it states, it's only because of the people of Crumbleden's skills in construction that there are ruins left here to see. Their building style was reliable and straightforward, but whatever they hoped to accomplish by harnessing the fearsome power of lightning remains unclear. Some have theorized that the circular plaza atop the tower was built for a standoff of some kind. The next passage states, it's thought that this altar was built so this former kingdom could communicate with or perhaps confront something. This is the only altar built here, and scholars have been keen to discover its intent. It's also said to be shaped like something in particular. The idea that it was meant to charge lightning has been disproven. The new theory is that it was built to call something down and then restrain the lightning. This Tower of Crumbleden was constructed for a reason. It was constructed to reach a lightning power source in the sky, obviously being the Lord of Lightning, but for what purpose, it's unclear. We do know, however, there was an altar made at the top for this Lord of Lightning in order to contact it in some way, whether it was to restrain it for evil or to take it down for their own good. And some of the last couple of quotes aren't really significant for this cause, but one does state the stone has numerous large slashes cut through it, often in parallel tracks, suggesting giant claws. But that can't be, right? What could claw through stone? but obviously we know it's the Lord of Lightning. These slash marks go all the way up a path of stairs, which probably led all the way to the crumbleden tower in the back through a giant bridge of some sort that eventually collapsed due to the giant battle. So now the only way to get there is through an electric capture from Mario's capture abilities, which will take Mario straight to the altar at the top of the tower. I want to also note that there are multiple towers surrounding the area, but we know this is the only altar thanks to the brochure, so it seems like this one in particular was built in order to bring down the Lord of Lightning for some reason. But what is that reason? Building an altar is very interesting, and it was at first thought to collect energy, but we know it was actually built to call down and constrain the great dragon. But why? Altars are normally built to worship something, but also in some cases to sacrifice or kill something. So which one was it? Were the people of Crumbleden trying to worship this great dragon? Were they trying to capture and harness his power? Or were they trying to kill it for their own good or for their own greed? So now we have to break this down into two possible scenarios. One being this great evil dragon that destroyed this once beautiful loved city. But another possible option of this dragon once being a peaceful, lonely dragon up in the skies above that was brought down because of the greedy, power-hungry people of this lost city. So first, I want to start off with the theory that the townsfolk were constantly under attack from random lightning strikes, which would slowly destroy their city and kill off the townsfolk. So to protect the city and its people, they had to construct the Great Tower of Crumbleden to focus all of the lightning strikes into one singular place to prevent them from striking the city. And maybe from here, they didn't just want to capture the lightning strikes into one place, but instead they wanted to actually take down the source of the lightning himself, which is the Great Dragon. They could have drew a plan to constrain the dragon using these swords and also to kill it to prevent the lightning strikes from hitting their own people. In the process, created a giant battle between the people of Crumbleden and of course the Lord of Lightning. This battle ultimately being the downfall of the ruined kingdom, or Crumbleden as we know it, and completely wiping out the civilization of people that once lived here. What if this isn't exactly what happened? What if the opposite was the case, where this dragon was actually minding his own business, and it was the savage people that actually wanted to bring him down? What if this dragon was actually minding his own business, and a couple of flashes were noticed through the clouds by the townsfolk? So they built a giant tower to the sky in order to capture that power for themselves. So after constructing the tower, they built an altar at the top to draw the dragon near, and then eventually captured it by weighing it down with the giant swords and tying it up in order to capture that lightning energy for themselves. Upon doing so, resulted in the downfall of their civilization by messing with something they were unfamiliar with. It caused the dragon to resent the people of Crumbleden and fight them to the end, completely destroying the entire city and the entire civilization as a whole. After all, we see swords with holes made apparently to tie them down, so this doesn't seem like something that was more of a defensive measure. It seemed like something on the offensive side, as if they were trying to tackle this beast and harness its power. Yes, even though the shackles on its head does reminisce Bowser, as it has tons of Bowser's symbols all over it, including a statue of Bowser's head, does not mean that this actually did not exist before Bowser got here. Maybe Bowser added his symbol to an already existing shackle that the people of Crumbleden tried to place on his head. What's also interesting is when you revisit the dragon, he just remains there and only says one line, "So tired," as if he's just exhausted from life. It's almost as if he spent his whole life just being constrained by people, whether it was the people of Crumbleden or whether it was the help of Bowser. There was always somebody trying to take over his power. The fact that this dragon can speak means he's definitely intelligent, and this one line of dialogue makes me feel bad for the dragon, as if none of this is his fault. I mean, after all, once Mario saves him from the shackles of Bowser, he doesn't really move. He just sits there and rests and doesn't do anything to harm Mario. One mystery that's still left on the table is, where does Bowser come in? Well, we know within the story of Super Mario Odyssey, Bowser is going from kingdom to kingdom getting supplies for his royal wedding that he's hosting with Princess Peach. The Ruined Kingdom, the Cloud Kingdom, and the Forgotten Kingdom are three kingdoms where Bowser never really went there to grab anything. These are just locations where he had to intervene in order to stop Mario from trying to track him down, so he stopped at the Cloud Kingdom in order to fight Mario. Bowser never went to the Lost Kingdom, as Mario was dropped there after defeated by Bowser from the Cloud Kingdom. That leaves us with the Ruined Kingdom, which technically is never visited. We never see Bowser go to the actual kingdom itself for anything in particular. I mean, the only part of the kingdom that we get to visit is the Great Tower of Crumbleden. And the only reason we're there is because Mario's airship gets knocked down, and we have to fight the Great Dragon. With Bowser's constraints and shackle on the head of the dragon, it's clear and evident that Bowser went to this kingdom primarily to take over this dragon, as if he knew about it and heard the legends or stories and went to come take the dragon as a big weapon of his. Now, it's impossible to say when the brochure was made and when this information was actually given. Did the crumble of Crumbleden actually happen a long time ago, or is this something more recent? There still is a chance that maybe Bowser was the cause of all this, but something that takes away from that is the fact that the Crumbleden Tower has always been there. So this altar was built way before Bowser even showed up. So I don't think Bowser came to help the people take down the dragon and ultimately cause their demise. I think that happened long before Mario or even Bowser got there. Bowser just took the remnants of this civilization and used them for himself. The power of his mighty airship armada and his army was too overwhelming for the dragon, to the point where he could do nothing but be enslaved by Bowser. It seems like Mario defeating him and taking the shackles off of his head actually acted as a way of saving the dragon. If anything, he felt at peace at the end once the shackles were lifted, and he was just tired from all the craziness that's happened in his life. So I don't think Bowser has a direct link to this dragon. Bowser just learned about the dragon and probably came to capture it and use it as a weapon against Mario. It's really unsure what the Lord of Lightning is and how he has these powers in the first place. He just seems to be some mythical great dragon from a long time ago who once ruled the skies of the Ruined Kingdom before it actually fell to ruins. And due to some type of conflict with the people of the kingdom, he destroyed everything, which would then give it the name the Ruined Kingdom with the capital of Crumbleden. And even today, he's still alive, as he's the only boss in the entire game that doesn't get completely defeated when he is finished. He is still dangling from that tower, which shows that there is a slight chance that we could see the Great Dragon once again. Maybe there's a future story that we still have to uncover about this dragon, and Nintendo left him alive for us to uncover that story later on. Whether he comes from outer space or another dimension, this dragon is definitely a mysterious one to see on the globe of Super Mario Odyssey. But to me, it seems as if he may have always been a peaceful dragon, minding his business in the skies of Crumbleden, until one day the people built an altar to him. Whether it was for a sacrifice, worship, or power of control, things ended pretty badly for the people of the kingdom. There could be survivors somewhere else below the skies, but as of right now, the war left only one sole survivor, the Ruined Dragon, also known as the Lord of Lightning.